PEGI 3.
Hello all Playvision soccer fans. Today, we're going to meet the creative producer of the PES franchise, Mr. Shingo Seabass Takatsuka, and ask him what the core concept of PES 2012 is. So, don't miss it.
前作も含めて、我々の共通のテーマであり、ユーザーから期待されているのは、思い通りのサッカーを実現することです。ユーザーの意図を、ダイレクトにピッチ上で実現できるゲームを目指しています。そのためにですね、2011では、全方向ドリブル、またマニュアルパスなどに力を入れました。それによって、選手個人に関してはすごく自由なプレーを提供できたと思います。ただし、結果としてはですね、ディフェンスに詰まってしまうと、一人で抜いていく展開が多くなってしまうかっていうことが、我々のちょっと残念なところであり、つまり展開については自由になっていないんではないかと、そう思いました。で、これは我々が目指す本物サッカーとは言えないのではないかと。サッカーでは一人で攻める、チームで攻めるっていう、2つの選択肢があるはずですよね。2012ではまず、チームで攻められるように改良を始めたんですね。チームで攻める場合、重要なのは何か。それは、味方のサポート、つまりオフ・ザ・ボールですね。そこにまず重点を置きました。2012の、改良点の一つとしては、自分がトラップする前、そこからすでに味方が反応してくれるようになっています。それによって、ワンツーの状況でも、3人目の選手が動き始めて、かなり自由度が広がってくる、そういうような展開になります。また、タイミングだけではなく、走るコースにですね、本物のサッカーを目指しています。単に、フィールド前後に走るだけではなくて、空いたスペースに、ダイアゴナルラン、斜めに切り込んだり、そういうような動きもふんだんに取り入れています。また自分がサイドにボールを持っていくと、後方から味方が一気にサイドを駆け上がってくる、それは皆さんかなり一般的に想像されるシーンなんですけども、そういうようなことも多くなりますし、自分がポストプレーをしている時に、シュートを打ちに寄ってきたりとか、それは当たり前のことが非常に起こるようになってますね。ただパスコースを作ってくれるだけではなく、味方がおとりとなって走ってできたスペースにですね、プレイヤーがドリブルで切り込んでいくというようなこともかなりできますね。それによって2012ではパスをつないだりドリブルで抜くっていう選択肢がかなり柔軟に増えましたので、展開もより自由になるし、しかもそれは本物サッカーにより近い展開になったと思います。今作ではそのようにオフェンスで非常に良い展開ができるようになりましたので、当然それに対抗するべくディフェンスにもかなり改良を加えました。例えばマンマークの場合、今までよりもマーカーについていく精度やコース取り、AI ですね、相当改良していますし、またゾーンディフェンスのマークの受け渡しなど、かなり今まで以上の納得にいくレベルを目指しています。また今回リレーディフェンスの操作を改良しまして、相手のスペースを消したりボールを奪うタイミングを測るっていう、前作でもやってることですけども、より今作の方が簡単に行えるようになっています。自分がボールを奪ったりリレーで時間稼いだり、ディフェンスでも個人と組織のプレーがより自由になりまして、 それによってレベルの高い攻防ができるようになっています。去年から引き続きプレイヤー操作もより自由にしなくてはならない。ではどの場面でそれを生かすのがいいのかということで、我々今回1対1っていう局面にもフォーカスを当てています。ドリブルで相手と対峙する際に簡単な操作で右左右右など、いわゆる重心の駆け引きですね。そのようなユーザーの操作をダイレクトに簡単に伝えられる操作感を目指しています。守備側もディレイが向上してますので、意図した通りについていけるし、また簡単には抜かせることもないですね。それにより、当然接触プレーも増えますよね。そこで前作以上に、競り合いとか、体のぶつけ合いなどの、その辺の表現に、力を入れるようにしてます。1対1っていう、操作の楽しさだけではなくてですね、より感情的に、いわば実際の選手の緊張感や興奮さえも、リアルに体験できるんではないかと、そう思っています。
It's said that PES 2012 is another step closer to real football as it gives players greater freedom at both individual and team level. What else is new?
当然試合以外の部分のモードやエディットなどについても新しい要素がありますけども、それは今後少しずつ皆さんに紹介できればいいと思っています。
Seabass told us that the online community was being made into an even bigger, more fun place for users to interact with many new features, including inter-community rivalry.
今後はですね、いち早く体験できるイベントなども、積極的に開催していきますので、ぜひ参加していただいて、その際には皆さんから声をいただいて、また商品に積極的に反映させていきたいと思います。毎日ゲーム作って遊んで、それを評価しながら少しずつ完成に近づいてます。ファンの皆さんにも期待してほしいとそう思います。ぜひ新しいシリーズを見て触って楽しんでほしいと思います。それではバイバイ。高塚でした。
PEGI 3.
This is the video that we first showed at E3. It should be familiar, but I wanted to give you some insight into what the team wanted to show. You'll see improvements to textures, models, animated items, and emotions and atmosphere. But the key point with PES this year is what we see happening when the ball is passed. Before the player even receives the ball, other players are making moves to give you attacking options. This is the key to PES 2012 and demonstrates our commitment to overall gameplay experience. The umbrella term we're using for this is active AI, which can alter according to the tactics and stats of players and teams, but should always be anticipating play and working to give you options. In this next section you can see improvements that are made to the one-on-one system. Tackling, jostling, falls, all of these things have been improved to give a much more realistic effect. In addition, you can see the new animations and motions that we've included. What you can't see is that we've improved all of the response times to improve the experience overall. I'll leave you to enjoy the rest of this video, but if you want to find out more about PES 2012, check out the individual videos which explain in greater depth. That's it for now. For more information, you can follow me on Twitter or go check out the Facebook page for PES, and we're also on YouTube.
PEGI 3.
Welcome to this video on overlapping runs. We're going to examine how active AI has an impact across the whole pitch and affects all situations. So this is a situation that you should be fairly used to seeing in PES 2011. The player out on the wing there is going to fail to make an overlapping run, which is going to cause play to break down. However, in PES 2012, as you'll see now, the players will always be anticipating your play. Before the player here even gets the ball, the player on the wing is already making a run, and he'll be altering his speed accordingly. In this situation, you'll see a player coming from deep, making a diagonal run, and continuing that run right the way along the line, eventually getting the ball in with the cross. Finally, you'll also see how midfielders here support the attacks, pushing the ball out wide and again making an overlapping run.
PEGI 3.
Looking at another feature now of the active AI system, we're going to talk about diagonal runs. Okay, in PES 2011 we often saw this situation: a player running along the wing, failing to find the space, making a straight run and ending up in a group of players. And then when he passes it out wide, the player on the wing is going to do the same thing, ending up in a poor shooting situation. In PES 2012, by comparison, you'll see that the player makes a run here in front of the line of the defence, and that ends in a scoring situation. Here you'll see a player making a really interesting darting run between two players, again resulting with a goal.
PEGI 3.
In this video you'll see how the active AI now encourages dummy runs to provide more options and create space. Dummy runs aren't going to be made all the time, it will depend on the situation and the player's abilities. Here you'll see a player up front dragging a defender out of the way. The player behind him now has space to move into, and he gets the shot off. Here again you'll see the support striker making a run to drag players out of the way, and in this case he's going to leave space for the pass to be made into. So that's the end of this demo video. Make sure you follow me on Twitter or go check out the Facebook page and our YouTube channel.
PEGI 3.
In this video we're going to take a look at how the active AI affects all situations and how that extends into defending. In PES 2011 you'll see here when we stop the video that the formation of teams at times could be really haphazard. You'll see here that the space in between the defensive line and the midfield line is far too big, allowing the player to drift into the space and get a shot off. In PES 2012 we're going to pause the action here, and you should be able to see that the communication between the defensive and the midfield lines is much better. So the team generally tries to hold its shape much better, and it results in less player bunching.
PEGI 3.
We've already seen how the active AI affects formations and defending. Now we're going to take a closer look at how the active AI affects individual decisions. So at the top of the screen here, circled in yellow, you'll see one player marking his man there. But then he'll spot that in midfield the danger has changed, so he'll come towards the ball and the man at right back will now fill in for his position. In the centre of the pitch here, you'll see the defensive midfielder holding up play, and then further back you'll see other players are continuing to mark the dangers, which is cutting out the possibilities. These decisions are being made right the way across the pitch all of the time, and it counteracts the new attacking possibilities that we've added into the game, so that the balance is just right.
PEGI 3.
Turning our attention now to a brand new system which is called off-the-ball control. In the past, we've made piecemeal improvements to throw-ins or penalties, rather than making sweeping changes. In this situation, you'll see the throw-ins that are affected, but it also affects every dead ball situation that you're in. It encourages you to pick a man and try and make space. Here we're going to move on to a regular free kick. Now, the player's going to switch control away from the kicker using the right stick and cycle to a player he feels is in a good position. He's going to make space, and then we see the header on goal. Moving on to goal kicks here, you'll see again the system affects the situation. My right stick changes the player that you're controlling, and then you're calling for the ball either along the ground using the X button or in the air using the circle button. Here we see the system being used for a corner situation. The player is going to select the man at the edge of the box there, make a late run, and again a chance on goal. It's a fantastic new system, really increases the level of freedom in PES.
PEGI 3.
We're now going to take a look at the teammate assisted control system. We've already seen in PES 2012 how the active AI anticipates play, providing space and options for the best possible gameplay experience. However, as we can see here, those that want to take more direct control can select from one of two types of teammate support. In these examples, with teammate assisted control, a player can at any time select another teammate using R3 and the right stick to encourage simple straight runs. This system builds on the already complex active AI system. Finally, you can see how this system can also be used to encourage multiple players to move forwards. So that's the end of this demo video. Make sure you follow me on Twitter or go check out the Facebook page and our YouTube channel.
PEGI 3.
Now let's take a look at the more complex teammate controls on manual setting. Teammate manual controls are designed for more accomplished players. Using this option, players can select an additional player off the ball using R3 and then run them in any direction using the right analog stick. As we can see here, the system gives you total freedom to control one player and find space with another. Like the teammate assisted system, this method can also be used to link together multiple runs. Finally, you don't need to wait for the ball to reach its target before selecting another teammate that you can pass to. So that's the end of this demo video. Make sure you follow me on Twitter or go check out the Facebook page and our YouTube channel. In this next video, we're going to take a look at how improvements have been made to hold-up play. Konami introduced hold-up play or tracking play last year, using the X button and moving the defender in the direction of his own goal. The system is simplified this year using the X button and R2. AI will determine if the defender should carry on with hold-up play or tackle according to the distance to the ball holder. Releasing the R2 button will send the player in for the tackle. The timing of the tackle is now key to great defending.
Peggy 3.
Let's look now at how the penalty system has changed in PES 2012. We've listened to the feedback of fans who wanted the penalty system changed. Penalties last year were difficult to control and featured a camera angle from the side. Shots tended to be struck wide or directly at the keeper, favouring the defending team. PES 2012 sees the return of a camera view behind the kicker. Controls have been simplified, with the power button used for elevation and the left stick controlling the direction. Keepers can be moved simply by selecting left or right. The R1 button is used to chip the keeper. So that's the end of this demo video. Make sure you follow me on Twitter or go check out the Facebook page and our YouTube channel. Hello and welcome to this video blog. My name is John Murphy. I'm the PES team leader for Europe. Hopefully you'll be able to find out exciting news from this point onwards using this format. What we're going to do is we're going to run through questions from people on Twitter, and hopefully we'll all learn a little bit of information in this process that's exciting for the development of PES 2012. So I've gone through the Twitter responses personally, and I've picked out some of the stuff that is interesting. At this stage of the development, we can't reveal everything. We want there to be some secrets around the corner. So we're mainly talking about gameplay improvements right now. Hopefully you'll get something out of this session, and then later on we'll come on to deal with all of the other questions that you have as well. So let's get straight on with it. And first of all, I've got from Alex Malcolm, are there more transitional animations for PES 2012? Has the stumble animation been reduced? 2 questions, cheeky, like it. So Alex, yes, there are new animations for PES 2012. There's whole new animation sets, such as the ability to touch the ball very quickly on, in one move, knock the ball ahead of you, which is very useful for counter-attacking moves. What we've spent a lot of time on is improving the animations that we did last year, reducing the amount of time the animations take, smoothing them out, improving the responsiveness, etc. And you should find now, certainly from the evidence I've seen, there isn't any of the anything that loses control of the player for you. So, for example, you talked about the stumbling animation. What would happen there is you would get stuck in a routine, you wouldn't be able to flick out of it, and your player would stumble and you'd lose control of them. That has gone. So throughout the game there's a much better feeling of responsiveness to controls. Hope that answers those. Manual footy. John, is manual shooting will be in final code? Manual shooting isn't in this year. We've had so many other things to try and get done. Hopefully you'll know about lots of those to do with the AI and the gameplay. I think for us this year, adding manual shooting to this massive mix of improvements was too much in terms of both the schedule and also in terms of what it might have done to the gameplay. We will be talking about improvements to shooting later on, but it won't be the concept of manual shooting that I know quite a lot of people were interested in for PES 2012. Hopefully we will get onto that at a later stage. I would certainly like to see us do that. Okay, We Play Pro. Will we be able to have auto tackling set to off by default? It's really annoying having to change it every game. Yes, it is really annoying. I totally agree. Last time I was in Japan with Seabass, I brought this up. Actually, I was hoping it was going to happen last year. I don't know why it didn't happen last year, but auto tackling as of code that is currently available is already switched to off. You won't have to do anything to change that. Actually, this year you'll have the ability to set all of your preferences in advance, save all of those preferences, and then not have to change any settings when you move into any game, including online games. But default auto tackling off, thank goodness. Right, Timothy Abraham wanted to know if Seabass can put handballs back into PES if it's not overdone, where you'll get bags of pens, etc. This is something that came up last year, actually on the Twitter account, and I ended up doing a straw poll of people to say how did people feel about the idea of handballs. And the response was overwhelmingly that we shouldn't be bringing in things to the game that you don't have control over, that do have some kind of serious input into the way that the game plays. So for the time being, we will not be bringing anything like handballs into the game where, because of an action that takes place that's outside of your control, you end up suffering as a result. So not for the time being. It's a pity because it is a part of, some part of football, but not just yet at the moment. Hello Facebook. Hello PES fans on Facebook. My name's John Murphy, I'm the PES team leader for Europe. I've been answering your questions on my new vlog, and somewhere down here on the page somewhere you're going to find a link to that vlog. Follow that and you can see see me talking about some inside information. If you've got questions, you can also post those to me as well at the same place. So, go and check it out. Thank you. Right. Andrea Montis. Will fouls from behind always be punished with the red card? Just like in real football, no. That's the simple answer. It's going to depend on, you know, where your foot connected, what your foot connected with, ball or player, how far away from the ball you were if you don't take the ball, whether or not the slide looks like it's a reckless slide, that you know you had no chance of taking the ball in the first place. So all of the things that you would expect to come into a referee's decision about a red card will come into the decision-making process for the referee in PES. So it's not automatic, but it will be much more likely depending on the situation that you're in. And that's especially true if it looks like you were stopping someone from having a goal-scoring opportunity. Moving on, Mr. Trilby. Co-op cursor change is well dodgy on 2011 for PS3. Will the team be looking into this for 2012? We're already working on a new form of cursor switching you probably heard about, which is the right stick, using the right stick to switch players. Still use L1 if you want to. Hopefully the right stick is going to solve those problems both in single player and multiplayer. I do know what you're talking about, Mr. Trilby, with that being especially a problem in multiplayer. So now you can use the right stick at any time to cycle through the players in your team, and that should stop that situation where you know, you were stuck on a player down the wing and you couldn't get a defensive player in the middle, etc. And from what I've seen, it results in less automatic cursor changing as well in multiplayer, which I think was the frustrating point about the multiplayer last year. Okay. So, Timothy Abraham, I think we dealt with a question of his earlier, didn't we? He's getting two. Was it later? Anyway, Timothy wants to know if managers are in the game, if they prowl the touchline in PES 2012. Yes, managers are part of the game this year. They're there principally for, you know, to increase a sense of atmosphere within the games. You should already have seen that we've included things like stewards around the side of the pitch, moving cameras, cameramen that go up to a player that when he celebrates, you know, those sorts of things to improve the atmosphere. There's a little bit more to say about managers, but I can't say that just yet. But you should see them in the game whenever it's being played this year. They're much more evident if you change around, if you mess around with the camera angles. On to Pablo Silvetta. Can we control a second player at free kicks and corner kicks with right stick? Certainly you can, yes. We've announced a system called dead ball control. No, we haven't. We've announced a system called off the ball control, which is dead ball player control. Basically, any point in the game where you get a dead ball situation occurring, right stick, and then you can cycle through any player away from the ball, away from the person who's taking the free kick or the throw-in. And then what you do is you select the player you want. You can then move that player using the normal controls, including the ability to run, etc. And then you call for the ball either using the X button or the circle button for either along the ground or in the air. And you can use that in any dead ball situation, which makes a really big difference to the way the game plays. It's difficult to pick up to start with because for years we've been used to playing PES in a certain way, and all of a sudden we've come along and made a sweeping change. It's really cool. It's really worth messing around with. If you want, you can continue to use the existing system, but I would, when you get a chance to play the game and you get a chance to play a demo, I would seriously recommend trying to get the hang of that, because it's excellent. Hello Facebook. Hello PES fans on Facebook. My name's John Murphy, I'm the PES team leader for Europe. I've been answering your questions on my new vlog, and somewhere down here on the page somewhere you're going to find a link to that vlog. Follow that and you can see see me talking about some inside information. If you've got questions, you can also post those to me as well at the same place. So, go and check it out. Thank you. Right, Harvey de No 10. Is continuous play in PES 2012? Last year was too late, and one of our rivals might have picked up on it since. Apparently he thinks they read our ideas on Twitter. Could well be. We've implemented a couple of instances of continuous play this year. You'll see some instances in throw-ins, for example, where a player will run over and pick up the ball before then go and take the throw-in. Free kicks, if you bring an extra man into the wall, you'll see a player jog into the wall. If you change the free kick taker, you'll see the new free kick taker come in and pick up the ball and place it, etc. Also, when you have goal celebrations, they'll take place actually at the point where the player scored the ball, rather than some sort of cheat animation that takes you away from the action. So there are instances. It isn't fully implemented in the game yet. I'd like to see it continue, for us to continue to work on that. What we've got to be careful of is, as always, and particularly this year, not disrupting the gameplay. We don't want a situation where you're waiting for these things to happen, and while you're waiting for these things to happen, someone else has an advantage in setting up their play. So we've got to be a little bit careful with continuous play, and we're working on it. Ivan. Players turning in PES 2012, is it more responsive than 2011? Certainly. I mentioned this slightly earlier on. All button responses are quicker, and all turns are quicker. We've worked on cutting down on the frames of animation, but keeping it smooth for the turns. So you'll get much more responsive turns, and the button response time has also been shortened as well. So everything is much more responsive. But as soon as you pick up the game, you're going to feel the game is much lighter feeling to play. It does what you want to straight away. It's a really good feeling the gameplay has this year, and partly it's because of these response times. So enjoy those. Dan Rizda, what do you think is the best feature of PES 2012? It's honestly, for me, it's what we've announced so far to do with the AI, which is just so refreshing. You know, not just for PES, but in any game of football, having the AI second guess what you want to do and making options for you the whole time. And it just, you know, the joy of building up play is now back in PES. You know, you really feel like you achieve everything that you do on the pitch. You feel like a sense of achievement with what you're doing. But it's the options that are now opened up are just incredible, and you know, it's far less frustrating in terms of defending as well, because the players are all set up properly and they're thinking properly, and they know how to spot danger. The team acts as a unit. So the AI changes for me are awesome. The off-ball controls that I mentioned earlier does have a great impact as well, but the AI is just a breath of fresh air. Okay, Marcus Inho. He wants to know if the PC version will have all the same number of
speed settings as the console versions. Last year there were only 3 in the PC version, which is correct. This year the PC version will have all the same number of speed settings as the console, which is 5. That's confirmed. Marcus. Okay, Matthew Reed. Penalties in 2012, are they going to be same as 2011? Because I'm not a fan of the new camera angle, it's too easy for the goalkeeper. You will be very pleased to know, and I'm very pleased to know, that penalties have already been improved. They've already changed the camera angles back behind the player, taking the kick, and the whole system is simplified. It's much more enjoyable, much more about guesswork and psyching out your opponent, I guess, but it's much easier to understand. That is already in the current code that was shown at E3, which is now doing the rounds in the community, and the press is getting their hands on it, so I would imagine that you're going to get lots of feedback. We'll be talking more about penalties later on as well. Okay, and finally I'll end on my favourite subject, which is from Killer Stefan. Will there be a net editor this year, John, for the Stadium Creator? I'm confirming this. I need to confirm this with the team at the moment. I don't know. I think they've misunderstood the question so far, but you can't, I don't think you can edit the net. I'm not sure whether or not you can change the net in different stadiums. That I need to confirm for you. But at least you've got square nets this year, as Killer Stefan. So I hope you're happy. Hope you'll make me happy as a result. Send me some best wishes or something like that. Okay, cool. That's it for the first of these video blogs. We'll come back and try and do these on a regular basis. Keep the questions coming in. For now, I'll say goodbye. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.